into jobs, right? Careers, your business, your effort. Most people here, maybe you aren't an entrepreneur, but maybe you want to be an entrepreneur, maybe you want to be an author, a speaker, or whatever you want to be, but right now you're working in your job. Your attitude that you have working in your job is going to create the the same attitude that you had when you began to try to create your entrepreneurial journey or your small business journey or your author journey or your speaker journey of anything that you would like to do. Um, so I suggest you begin, if you're working for somebody else, you begin to develop the attitude of 100% contribution at your job, right? Um, if you begin to dedicate your efforts and your energies toward making the most out of your day, meaning as you come to work, you give 100%, right? In your effort, you give more than what is expected of you. When you are at your job, you learn how to find out exactly what the mission is, what the boss needs in your job, and you begin to contribute that tenfold more than what anybody else at the job is giving, right? And it may get you noticed and it may get you hated upon by your fellow employees, but I'm telling you, what you're working on is something a whole lot bigger than the hate that's going to come your way. What you're working on is you're working on your next move, right? And your next move is you building yourself up to be the person that when on your own, doing your entrepreneurial journey or on your own creating the life that you want, you have a certain work ethic that you have already built over the years, which has began as you as an employee. So trust me, if you do this kind of effort, you will be missed as an employee when you walk away and you create the life that you want. Um, so the question my mentor asked me when it comes to being an employee and working at a job, and trust me, I did 28 years for the state, okay, in law enforcement. So this question was very, very important to me because I saw many people who had state and federal jobs, okay, who felt that something was owed to them because they got hired for a job. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, it is not how I was built, and it disgusts me to see it. But this is who they were, and they were tearing themselves down with this behavior and with this thought process. And I'm trying to get you guys not to be that person. So my mentor asked me this question. I want to ask this to you guys, right? And you can answer it for yourself and begin to pull things together. And hopefully it generates some type of thought process in your mind that gets you to just begin thinking about your efforts when it comes to your job or your career. So my mentor asked me, he said, do you think that just because a job hires you to do a job, that they continually owe you something when you decide not to perform the job at the level you promised? Now, when you started a job, when you hired a job, any job, I don't care whether you're a ticket ripper at the movies, okay, or a CEO for a Fortune 500 company, right? When a job hired you, you signed a contract, right? Whether it was a job application, no matter what it was, they told you what the duties were when you began the job, right? And so when you began the job and you had those duties that you were supposed to perform, um, you may have started off trying to learn, and that learning curve was maybe steep for you depending on the level of skills that you needed to had to get for that job. I know in law enforcement, you have to go like a 26-week academy for the job, and so the learning curve is really, really steep, right? And so you reach that learning curve, and now you're on the job, and you got your first year, your second year, and that learning curve is really, really steep. And for some people, that learning curve is too steep, right? That learning curve is too steep, especially for those guys that I see in law enforcement that fall back on the lazy think mentality. And And what they start to do is they start to do less, right? And they start to avoid work, or they start to assume that they know more than enough. Well, I'm gonna tell you guys, in 28 years of law enforcement, um, I learned tons of stuff in my early years, and tons of more stuff in my final years, right? You are always learning every single day. Every single scenario, okay, is a learning process because individuals are unpredictable, right? As much as you guys feel that you can predict individual behavior, individuals at times are extremely unpredictable, and you have to learn from every single experience when it comes to creating the life that you want, right? When it comes to creating the job that you want, when it comes to uh, being the best you can be at your career that you've chosen, your career that you signed a contract to be the best, right? Or to try to achieve the goals that your employer set out for you. So, the note to myself that I left in this, guys, was this question was asked to me, but not directed, it wasn't directed at me by my mentor, right? Now, listen to this closely. The reason he asked me this question was because of the crowd of people I was hanging around, my circle of influence. He wanted to know where my mind was when it came to the people that I was hanging around. Were they starting to influence my thought process to that of the job owes me something, to that of the entitlement of just having a job, right? A lot of people begin that, right? You in the beginning, you're all willing to help and work out and do whatever it takes to get the job. And then once you get the job and you get settled in, now you become the person that the job owes you something. The job doesn't owe you anything, guys. The job is the job. You should be working diligently each and every day to become better and better and better at your job as you grow and as you mature and as you learn more of the mission from the job and what the boss wants. Period. And and when you do that, right? Um, a lot of people don't. They feel it. It's like ass kissing. And let me say that, right? Because that's some of the things that people say when people start to work hard at their job and try to uh, get all in on the company mission. They call them ass kissers, and so those people are trying to throw you off track, guys. Those people are trying to stop you from becoming a better you, the best you can be. And the reason they're doing that, guys, is because they have given up on becoming the best that they can be. So you cannot let your circle of influence, if that is what they're doing, stop you from growing out of your circle of influence. You can't let them do it because people have a tendency to try to hold you down to keep you status quo. And you have to fight to grow to do that. So, in asking me this, my mentor was making sure I didn't fall into the thought process of those I spent the most time around. That entitlement mentality. Guys, when you are taking on any endeavor, right? If it is worth taking on, I tell you guys over and over again, it is worth giving 100% of your efforts toward that individual, toward that endeavor, toward that career, toward that job, toward that marriage, toward that parentship, or whatever you're going to do, toward that friendship, whatever you're going to do, guys. So, listen, it is getting late here tonight, and I have some other things I need to wrap up with tonight. So I am going to wrap up this podcast. But I am asking you guys to check me out, right, on on Instagram, Facebook. Shoot me some DMs, right? TikTok as well. I'm on TikTok. If you like this video, right, click on the link. Check me out. Give me a like. Give me a thumbs up on the video on YouTube. I am going to be launching my book. I told you guys September 1st, my new book, Mentor Manifesto, as well as a course. I'm launching a new course, guys, based on my top 25 mistakes to help people to begin to achieve